I want to talk about love. It has been on my heart, and it is all about the mission of your unity.
I use the word unity is embracing where you are about and the community around you.
And so my point of departure is always stems from my faith.
Whatever's going to happen, God's people are going to be all right. And I want us to pause and just reflect on that one thing, that word love. It's 4 letters, such a short word, but it means so much.
And that energy naturally exudes,
Yes.
and people are attracted to those things.
It's just another moment for creative thought, and I think that has to be put out there for people to understand.
We can't control the whole world, but we can control ourselves. If each of us chooses love and unity in our own lives, the ripple effect can heal communities, cities, and nations.
Welcome, everyone, to Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to let your light so shine. I know I've said that to you many, many times, but it bears repeating. It is so important that we radiate that love, that light of love upon those in our world. It is so important that we move in positivity, that we try to uplift and inspire people every single day just by who we are and what we do and how we contribute to this world. I am your host, LaShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. Please tag a friend. Let them know that we're on. Please let them know. How are you, my friends? I hope that you've had a wonderful week so far. It's beautiful outside, and you know I like the cool breeze. I like that crisp air. I just love everything about this season right now. I don't want it to get too cold, but I do enjoy the temperature as it is at this moment, and I hope that you guys are enjoying it as well. It's been an interesting week for so many of us. And, you know, I mentioned to let your light so shine. Yes, we have to do that. But a lot of people, you know, we're going through things. We got issues in our lives. We're dealing with challenges. And it is still so important that we take the time to shine our light even in those moments. I know it can be difficult. Trust and believe. And if I could, you know, like the kids say, keep it 100 with you right now, I've also been dealing with some challenges. I've had some issues that I just can't seem to shake, but I still show up with joy in my heart. I feel blessed. I'm waking up every morning. I'm not dealing with serious issues that is preventing me from actually showing up for those of you out there, and as well as myself and my family. Yeah, it gets hard sometimes. I mean, I'm up here smiling, I say a joke here and there, but sometimes the weight of the world gets to me. And sometimes, you know, the issues that I have to encounter on a daily basis, just personal problems that all of us have to deal with, sometimes gets you down. But you take those moments, you pray to God, and you remember that love and that light that He shines in you every day, and you just keep on pressing. And that's exactly what I've been doing. So that's why I'm sitting there in front of you with a big, huge smile on my face. So excited to have my guest here today, who is also a beautiful light in this world, and I love her dearly. I want to share with you a quick story. So today, I had some computer issues with my work computer. And so the tech had to call me. And when he called me, he asked me, same as we do with anyone we encounter, whether it's a stranger or a friend or a family member, how are you? And then you just quickly respond, I'm okay, and then you get down to business. So this gentleman asked me today, hey, how you doing? And he was ready for me to move on with the quick, yeah, I'm good, let's go. And I said, actually, I could be better. Things could be better, but I'm good. I'm pressing through. God is good. I'm doing the best that I can with what I'm dealing with right now. And this young man paused for a second. And then what he did was, he was like, oh my God, I totally understand. I've been going through some things too. And he mentioned that he was in an accident, he got hurt, he's in a sling, and he has to still show up for work, he has to still show up for his family, he has to still just press on. And I just hoped that he was okay. I expressed to him that I was so sorry for everything that he was going through. And I also said, I'm gonna pray that you get better. And he actually said to me, I am so glad that, honestly, I was able to get that off my chest. And again, sometimes we have to stop and take a moment and be truthful with ourselves. When someone asks you a question, use that opportunity for you to be transparent and honest and authentic and get it out. Don't just keep moving and taking on the weight of whatever you're dealing with. Because let me tell you, after I had that conversation with that gentleman, I even felt better. So it is so important that we don't just allow what's going on in our lives to just shelter us from being true and realistic with others about what we're actually going through and how we're feeling. They may not be able to help you, they may not even have the answers, and they may not even have the best advice. But just listening is a comfort enough for some. And to me, that's what I was able to give this gentleman today. Just the fact that I was able to listen. And I felt the same for him as well. I didn't go into everything I was going through because, he didn't give me the time, and I really needed my computer fixed. But the fact remains is that I was able to share that I wasn't feeling the best that I know that I could, should, and wanted to. But I was going to continue to move forward and knowing that God is going to handle whatever issues I have going on in my life. And I want you guys out there to do the same, to remember that whatever you're going through, whatever your life is contending with at this moment, it can never be that bad that God is not going to heal you, help you, and comfort you. So I just want to share that with you real quick. And I want to get on to the next segment, which is, it is October, and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is basically a month where we get to honor survivors, support those currently battling the disease, and remembering the lives we've lost. It's also a call to action to educate, encourage early detection through screenings, and promote research that saves lives. This month reminds us that awareness is more than just wearing pink. It's about empowerment, it's about community, and it's about hope. And that is the story that my friend, my beautiful sister Racquel will be sharing today. So I don't want to tarry any longer, and I want to get to our guest. The title of the show is In Her Light, A Journey of Faith, Strength, and Survival. And we will be speaking to Racquel Chariah. She is a devoted Christian, loving wife, and proud mother of 3 sons residing in Queens, New York. Her powerful journey of faith and resilience began in 2014 when she was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. A life-altering moment that awakened a deeper purpose within her to inspire, advocate, and empower others. Transformed by her experience, Racquel dedicated her life to serving her community and amplifying the voices of women and girls around the world. Over the past decade, she has led the compassion and conviction. She has led as a compassion and conviction as a PTA president and executive director of 2 nonprofit organizations, championing initiatives that support survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking. In 2024, Racquel launched her consulting company, Let Your Light So Shine, a mission-driven platform that helps leaders and entrepreneurs in underserved communities unlock their potential to achieve success, sustainability, and social impact. Rooted in faith and empowerment, her work continues to remind others that light shines brightest after the storm. Beyond her entrepreneurial achievements, Racquel's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion has made her a force for social change. She founded a thriving DEI committee to foster unity and representation in leadership spaces, a testament to her unwavering belief in justice and equality for all. A published author, board member of the Stephen Spectrum Project, and delegate for the Queens General Assembly, Racquel was also recognized as one of Long Island's top 50 women in business, honoring her dedication to service and leadership. Through every chapter of her life, from survivor to servant leader, Racquel continues to embody courage, compassion, and grace. Her greatest joy remains in building meaningful relationships and leaving every person she meets better than she found them. Living proof that faith and love can turn any trial into triumph. So please help me welcome the beautiful Racquel Chariah.
Hello again.
How
Hello,
are you?
everyone.
Yes.
Such a pleasure to be here again.
It is such an honor to have you here, my friend, especially in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You are not only a survivor, you are a leader in advocating for encouraging and uplifting other women who are going through this unfortunate disease. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Of course. Oh yes, my sister. I love this woman. So as I mentioned, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I couldn't find any more of a better person than Racquel to come and share her story, her journey, what you experienced, and how you obviously got through it, and how you are now advocating for other women to, as you know, my slide mentioned, to go and get screenings early, make sure that they're taking care of themselves, and realizing that this can be at any age. It's not, you know, just relegated to someone in their 40s or 50s. It can happen very, very early, correct?
Very correct.
Yes. So let's begin. Tell me a little first about, you know, your background, where you're from, and we can just get to know you a little bit.
Of course. Well, you did such a great job sharing a little bit about my history. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, a Caribbean islander. Came up to the United States at the young age of about 11. Grew up in Florida for a bit, and then again got married and moved here with my husband to New York. Have 3 amazing young men who I'm raising together with my husband, and just trying to live each day, you know, and just take one day at a time.
Yeah, I know that's hard for you, because one day at a time, girl, you was a busy. I met this woman and she was doing a million things at one time, running organizations, creating your own platform. So knowing that and being so busy, how did you find time for those 3 amazing kids and your husband? Because sometimes that can be hard when you're so goal oriented.
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, and it's so fitting to be on your show in this month, because it is my 10-year anniversary of being a survivor. And the one greatest part of that journey was I had a village. It started with my husband, of course, and my children and my family, my sister-in-laws, my brother, my family, my extended family, the PTA, the community. As I share in my journey, the reason why, you know, I feel like I have to give back is because of what was given to me, what was poured into me by the community. The entire community at my son's school showed up for me. I had just become the PTA president, and, you know, 1 month later, I was diagnosed. And I shared this story even just at another interview. I remember sitting with my husband and my oncologist, and, you know, they lay out the plan of what's to come with the treatment and, you know, breast cancer and everything. And just the naive part of me just sat there and said, okay, how long is this going to take? Because I just became the PTA president, you know, not knowing that this journey, you know, still continues, right? Because as much as we talk about educating people about, you know, this disease and what else, you know, is to follow, it's not just going through chemo and radiation and thinking, okay, you're right, you're good now, right? You've battled, and no. This is really when the battle begins, because of all the side effects, all of the follow-up treatments, all of the things that can go wrong. Every time something happens, you have to go get a scan, you know, you have to make sure it's not cancer related, and you live with that for the rest of your life. And, you know, you spoke, you know, so passionately about educating even at a younger age. And that is critical, and that is something that I'm truly passionate about advocating for, because I now speak to college-age students.
Wow.
Right? In my partnership with St. John's University and SJU Harmony, which you'll see later on this month, it's speaking to now young women who are in their 20s.
Yes.
Unfortunately, and one of the reasons that again, I'm so passionate about speaking, is I also have to be the voice for the voiceless, right? Two of my friends who are also battling breast cancer, unfortunately, did not make it past this year. And they are both under the age of 36.
Oh my God.
And passed away earlier this year.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and again, leaving behind small children.
Right.
And, when people ask me, well, what got you through it? What was the reason that you were able to persevere and push through this? It was my husband, my children, my 3 boys. I wanted to make sure I was here for them.
Yes.
The will to live and my faith, first and foremost, that I can lean on and know that God had me in his hands.
Yes.
And just putting that trust in that.
I love that.
yeah.
Well, take us back. How did you even get diagnosed in the first place? Was this something that you felt? Did you feel the lump? Was it just a regular mammogram that you were able to detect that there was maybe an issue and then you went in for further testing? Take us back to that time.
It was the month of December 2014. And as I mentioned, I had just become PTA president. So we were doing the holiday store and holiday fair and all of that. And I remember, we did a lot of shopping and carrying the bags. And it was later that night, I said to my husband, I feel something here that's out of the ordinary. And, I don't know what it could be because I love going to my doctors. I'm very routine with my checkups and I don't miss that. Like I have really great doctors.
Yes.
And, this was, again, at the end of the year, I felt the lump. I called my doctor. She sent me for a mammogram immediately. The mammogram turned into a sonogram. A sonogram turns into biopsy, and then something is definitely there.
Right.
And you can sense it, right? Because the nurses and the doctors, they come in, they look at things, and they talk, and so that's how they found it. It was Martin Luther King's weekend when the official diagnosis came.
Was given.
Yeah, I remember I had the biopsy and I was sitting on my couch and I got the phone call and my doctor called me in tears because she's delivered my 3 boys, so been with me for my life. And she said, I'm so sorry. I'll do whatever, it takes. Let's get you through this. And I remember the first thing I did once I hung up the phone was getting on my knees and just saying, thank you, God. Because I think if I had handled that news differently, the trajectory of this would have been different.
Yes.
I think because women of faith or anyone, who is practicing their faith, we can't only thank God in the good times.
Exactly.
Right? Like we're promised, trouble.
Yes. Yes, we are.
So I remember just saying, thank you, God, and whatever is to come will come.
Your will
and
be
I
done.
Just, I just leaned on my faith and my family.
I love that because that was honestly going to be my next question. Like, what was your initial response to it? Because a lot of people do. It's like you're in shock, obviously, you know, and then it's that state of depression, and then you're isolating yourself, and you want to battle it, but you're not really giving yourself the spiritual energy that you need in order to do it. You don't want to share it with others because you don't want people to feel sorry for you. But at that moment, you decided to pray and thank God, not God, please get me through this. Oh my God, I can't believe this happened. It's you thanking God. And I think that is beautiful. I really do. You said that you felt something, which I'm sure a lot of us do. I've told you guys a million times, I'm a hypochondriac. I will feel something. It may not be nothing, but I'm going straight to the doctor. I'm embellishing exactly what the problem is because I want them to take every single test that they have to take to then clear me of whatever the issue could possibly be. be. So I love the fact that you felt it, you knew something was wrong, and you immediately went to your doctor. How important is it for us not to ignore those signs? Because we're thinking it's going to go away, or it's just a cyst, oh, I'm stressed. You were doing a million things. You just started with the PTA. You're putting together, you know, these parties and things like that, and you still decided to go get it checked. How important is it for the people, the women and men, because men get breast cancer as well, is it for them to actually go and seek the help from their physicians?
I think it's really important to know your body, to pay attention to your body. This journey taught me that 10 years later, right? Like you said, you know, you're busy, you're a mom, you're doing a million things. But again, having a great support system. When I shared it with my husband, he was the one who really nudged me. I was like, oh, I'll deal with this another day, you know, as women tend to. My husband was really the one who said, call your doctor, go and get it checked. You know, if it's worrisome, this doesn't seem right. So I did that. So having people in your life also that you can feel like it's a safe space to say, hey, I don't feel this way, I don't feel that. Obviously, regardless of how strong you are in your faith or in your community or with your support system, you are going to go through and experience the range of emotions like you mentioned. I remember from the time of diagnosis to the time I saw my oncologist, there was a 2-week period. And the anxiety and the panic attacks I went through, I was waking up with nightmares because until you don't know, you don't know. So, you know, you hear the word cancer, you grow up and you're thinking, okay, you get cancer, you die. That's what we thought, right? And I remember just waking up, you know, just panicking, like, what is going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen, until I got to my oncologist, you know, started the whole treatment plan and the journey. And I said to him, and Dr. Seidman, he's a great shout out to Dr. Seidman, but I said to him, when he laid everything out to him, I said, if I were your daughter, is this what you would do? And when he said, absolutely, I said, okay, you're my doctor.
I love that.
And he still is to this day, and I trust him. You know, he has taken good care of me at Sloan, and I've just had a really incredible medical team and support team.
I love that.
But, you know, to answer that question just fully, just pay attention to your body. Never go to a doctor and a doctor just dismisses or says, here, take this pill, take that, go home. Just please, you know, in this day and age, you're talking about the food, the environment, everything that we do, the stress levels, they're so critical to contributing to how and our well-being. So just pay attention and advocate for yourself.
Yes, I love that. I know that you had stage 2, which you caught it really, really early, which is a blessing. Once you did get the diagnosis, and I totally understand you going through the range of emotions, did you start educating yourself at that point? Not just because I know you said you put your hands in your doctor and said, I'm your daughter now, like treat me like I'm your daughter, but did you still educate yourself? You didn't.
No, and I think for me, again, everyone's journey is going to be different. You're going to experience different things. You're going to just be exposed to different things. For me personally, I was told, be careful. Don't go and research and this and look up and whatever, because then you go down a rabbit hole. I started the first week and I would sit and cry with my husband because I'm like, oh my God, this is what's going to happen. This is gonna, because you don't know what's going to happen. Everybody's immune system is different. Everyone's tolerance is different. So I stopped after about the first week or so. I did not research anything. I did not. I also felt like the shock that I was in, I was not prepared to have anything else enter my brain, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. I get it.
Again, I would go to my doctor's appointment, and I give this advice to anyone. If you can, always make sure you have someone with you at the doctor's appointment, especially if you are diagnosed and you're going through treatment, as best as you can. I would go to my appointments and the doctors would say, for example, drink water. I would hear, don't drink water. So, you know, I would go home and then I would be like going to do something. They were like, your doctor said, don't do that or do that. So I just, again, I couldn't.
You didn't want to hear the noise.
I couldn't let it enter my system, my mind, my being, because I felt like then it would have been more detrimental to me. So I let the support system I had around me handle all of that other stuff.
I get that. I totally get that. You didn't want your judgment to be clouded, and as you mentioned, you didn't want to go down a rabbit hole, and you can. Too much information can also be very bad because you don't know what is true, what's factual, what's speculation, what's someone else's opinion, and you don't want to take on someone else's experience. You want to go through it on your own and continue to live. You literally lean on your faith, you know, and believe that regardless of what's going on, God is going to get you through. Did you have breast cancer or any type of cancer run in your family?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Both sides.
Okay.
So on my dad's side, my aunt passed, and my grandmother.
Oh, wow.
And on my mom's side, one of my aunts.
Okay. All right. So that is something for everyone to keep in mind as well. Please know your family history.
And get, you know, once you're diagnosed, then you go through genetic testing, right? So I tested negative, thank God, for the BRCA gene, which means then it doesn't, you know, transfer to my sons and things like that.
Right.
But one of the other greatest pieces of advice I can give anyone, and hopefully this is never you, but, you know, if you do have to experience chemo, the best advice I got, and this was like so emotional for me because I've always had long hair.
Right.
And the advice I got was to cut it or shave it before it starts falling out.
Right.
And I thought I was going to be the one person that you know, chemo will never affect. I'm going to keep my hair.
That's right.
And I'm going to be fine. You know, and listen, I did learn about things, right? I did learn about medicines. I did learn about treatments, but I didn't go down where like, what will happen if I do this and if I do that?
Right.
That's all. I just wanted to be clear about that.
Okay.
However, cutting off my hair was traumatic in itself because once it starts falling out, it's like, what is happening? But it was less traumatic than if I had to experience clumps of hair.
Right. I totally get that.
And I've shared that advice with anyone that I've come into contact with who is then later diagnosed, and they have shared the same.
Yes.
It's less traumatic.
I can imagine, especially if you have a beautiful long mane, beautiful hair, and you cherished it, you took time to care for it. So I get that. And also it changes your appearance, you know, and so that's what it is too. It's almost like you're losing a sense of who yourself. Exactly. So that was my next question. What was the most difficult part? Because I know you had your village, you had your family, you had your husband, you had your community that was helping you get through it, and also I'm sure praying for you constantly that you'll be okay. But what was the most difficult part of that when you're in your time, your lonely time, your moments that Racquel is by herself? What was the most challenging or the most difficult for you to kind of get over?
The most difficult was watching the people around me have to deal with it. You know, the caregivers. My parents. Yeah. My parents couldn't watch me get chemo. Yeah. My dad had come up for a little bit to spend with me, and he went one time and he had to exit the room. He started crying. He just couldn't. He couldn't. And same for my mom. She went one time, and then the other time they're like, no thanks, we'll stay home and we'll cook, we'll watch the kids. My husband, you know, unfortunately, for him it was also very, very difficult because his mom was simultaneously battling cancer. So for him, it was the two most important women in his life. Right. One was in remission, one was going through. One was in remission, one was, you know. So it was a little tough for the family unit, and just watching and feeling helpless. To know that, okay, someone has to bathe you, someone has to feed you, someone has to pick you up from the floor when you're sick, you know, someone has to tend to your wounds, it was, that for me was the hardest. It wasn't what I had to go through. I felt like, okay, I'll
muster,
yeah.
yes.
But it's watching what it did to everyone else, and you know how much it just takes.
I get it.
You know, a family going through cancer is just, it's really traumatic.
No, I could imagine.
Yeah.
I could imagine, because it's still the unknown, as you mentioned. Like, you can hear about all the treatments in the world, you can have all the money in the world, you can try to eat the best that you possibly can and do all the things, but it's still unknown. You know, you can also, you know, with a lot of people, you can go into remission and then a year later or 2 years later, it comes right back. So knowing that you had these people in your life and that you were seeing them go through this, where did you draw strength from? I know it was God, we know that. But now you're in this battle. I have to do this because I can't let these people around me down. Where did you muster up that strength and that wherewithal, and not being, you know, educated by the blogs and the newsletters and things like that, but how did you find that path to, I'm gonna make sure I'm all right with the grace of God, but I'm gonna make sure I'm all right?
I simply focused on others. I woke up every day and I said, God, give me somebody to help today.
Yes, yes.
And that allowed me to focus on someone else's trauma, needs. And it may sound, to me, sometimes I even have the conversation, I feel like I was trying to outrun cancer by, you know, hey, I was PTA president, so I never missed a day of school, ever. I have perfect attendance. Never had to cancel a meeting. So those things kept me focused and you know, alive and dealing with life and other people's needs, if that makes sense.
I get it.
Volunteering, speaking, that's where the passion I have for advocacy really grew, because again, being the voice for the voiceless, right? I also felt, even after and now sitting here today, I feel I'm given a second chance. What do I do with that? How do I give back? How do I change someone's life for the better? How do I show up for someone? How do I make sure that I'm not taking the second chance lightly? And we all make mistakes. We all, you know, have ups and downs, like you shared, you know, so poetically in the beginning. But it's, how do we pick ourselves up? Have your moment of crying, have your moment of, you know, stress and all of that. But how do you get up and then, you know, turn that around and let your strength comes from within? Because you do have to draw it from within. You have to, like, for me, looking in the mirror, again, I could not see Racquel. So I was like, okay, I don't see Racquel. So whoever this is, let's go.
Yep, let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving.
Yes, yes, I love it.
I could not look in the mirror. I could not see, you know, because you lose everything, you know, physical, emotional, you lose everything with cancer treatments. And some people have it worse than others. I don't know. I think I feel like I fell somewhere in the middle. I shared this even yesterday at an interview. The one thing I was not prepared for at all was the radiation. And some people go through it and, you know, but again, there's always, right? Like I said, your journey is your own. I was not prepared for the level of burn and the level of just torture and torment that we had to go through with radiation. However, I will say this, the doctors, when we, you know, the last 2 weeks, they said, Racquel, please just hang on, you know, just hang on. We promise at the end of 6 days, we promise, just help. And we were like, my husband was like, nope, stop it, you're killing her. We're walking out this door. And when the doctors kept saying, you know, we were like, all right, we're gonna do this. And they were right. And in 6 days, everything just kind of turned around. So for me, that was something I couldn't, I didn't.
You had to dig in like really deep at that time. And I get that. What was like, you know, in those moments that you did feel like I have to keep moving and I don't see myself though, but I got to keep moving. What did those moments feel like when you had to show up in front of people? Were you like me, like I said earlier, you just keep that smile on your face and you just keep it pushing? Was it able to be discerned by the people that you know and love that you were kind of struggling a bit?
I think no.
Yeah.
I think because I just showed up and tried to like be normal and, you know, do the things. I'm sure there were those who were like, Racquel looks tired, or Racquel is this, or Racquel is that. I'm sure, but I also just kind of focused my 3 boys. Like they were like, and my husband constantly, like I joke, like I wanted to be around to bother him more. You know?
I totally did. They were your lifeline. Like that is my reason for getting through this right now.
Yes.
Is there anything that you would have changed about that journey? Anything that you've done or thought that you might have changed about that journey to where you are now?
I don't think so. I think sometimes in life we obviously may have regrets or, you know, think that we should have, we could have. But my dad taught me that that's what reflection is for at the end.
Yes.
The life choices we make, whether it's good or bad, it creates who we are.
Yes.
It builds character. It builds, you know, a sense of who we can be, even if we make a mistake or we go through something like breast cancer or any type of cancer. I felt like I went through the fire.
Yes.
And I had to go through the fire to become who I now am.
Yeah.
Because without that, I think you wouldn't be sitting here with Racquel.
This would not be the conversation, and the strength in you would not be as grounded, you know, without that experience. So let me ask you, you went through the chemo for how long in the radiation?
6 months of chemo.
6 months. So when did it turn around that, yes, this is working, she's going to be okay? When did that come about? How long did it take?
A couple of years.
Really?
Yeah, because like I said, right, there's side effects.
Okay.
And you never know what's going to happen based on, you know, your body.
Right.
And how your body deals with everything. So my chemo I got through, and after chemo, they're like, okay, now we're gonna wait, then you have to start radiation.
Okay.
And it was after radiation, so the first full year. So I want to say January of 2016, January, February, I started getting chest pains.
Wow.
And it was like Friday, and I remember it was, you know, just being in the school, and I'm like, every time I took a breath, I couldn't breathe.
Right.
So I thought it was just whatever, right? So I went home, and that weekend I was just in the bed all weekend, you know, experiencing this pain. And then I think it was Saturday night or Sunday, we called, you know, the doctor, and they're like, where's the pain? And I'm like, every time I breathe. And they're like, get to the, you know, Sloan has their own ER, so everything, you go there. And I remember we got there, and it was one of those crazy nights where everybody was in the hospital, and it was packed. And the doctors, you know, they started running the tests. And I remember they were about to send me into the MRIs and the CT scans and all of that, because everything was low at that point or whatever. And I said to my husband, call Pastor Daniels and, you know, tell her to pray.
Yes.
And he did. And I went in for all the scans, came out, and when they put me in one of the rooms, and the doctor comes in and he's like, young lady, I don't know how you're still here and how you're sitting here, but I had a PE, a pulmonary embolism had formed, and it had traveled, and there were blood clots.
Oh my goodness.
Just ready, like right here to travel to the brain.
Oh my
and,
God.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So fortunately, and thank God, and I give God all the glory. All the glory.
Yes.
And that they just ended up, they said they don't know what happened, but they stopped.
Yep.
And they put me on
the
blood thinners.
Yes.
And that was for about maybe 6 to 9 months. And then, yeah. went
is
through
amazing. That is an amazing experience. You're supposed to be here. God's not ready for you yet, my friend.
I
That is
told him that.
clearly because
things
I'm
to do.
saying I've unfortunately lost a best friend with pulmonary embolism, and same thing, like the breathing and the tightness in your leg. Did you feel any of that? Oh my God!
I
thank
went for a
God.
massage.
Oh my God!
I didn't know that. You're not supposed to.
No,
You're not supposed to.
Exactly.
Please listen to your doctors.
Oh my Lord. Well, again, the fact that it was stage 2, caught very early, obviously the treatments were working. Obviously your faith was with you. God had his hand on you. When were you cleared? When were you completely like in remission? Because I know you said 10 years, thank God, cancer free.
Yeah.
So when was like that bell ringing?
So I didn't have the actual bell ringing.
Really?
Yeah, I have to talk to them about that.
Yes.
But so again, there were a series of hiccups.
Right.
First it was that. Then there was I had to have my ovaries and my tubes removed.
Okay.
To put my body into post-chemical menopause.
Right.
Because the first cancer pill I was on, tamoxifen, that's what caused the blood clots.
Okay.
So there's a slight percentage of patients who develop blood clots.
Right.
I was the slight percent.
Right.
So now they had to put my body into chemical menopause
Right.
and then switch my medicine.
Okay.
So there were a series of hiccups
Right.
along the way. So that had to happen. Then there were other ups and downs, things that happen with your body. Like I said, that's when the battle and the gets tougher.
Yeah.
You can't. You lose muscle, you lose bone, you lose this, you lose that, and so I would say this past year, last year, was when my doctor said, okay, you can be off of your pill.
Oh, wow.
The cancer pill,
Right,
right? Anastrozole, which is
right.
what I'm on now.
Nice.
Off, yes, was. So it was only, for me.
That's not bad. That
It's
is
not
not
bad.
bad. I mean,
Yeah.
even though it was a series of ups and downs, obviously your body needed to go through those things because it was new to this experience, So what you had to do was just go through that in order for you to come out the healthy person that you are, because you look amazing. You would never know that you went through all of that and had those challenges. I'm just so grateful to God, and I'm grateful to you that you did not give up, because a lot of people tend to. If you could share something in regard to your experience and just it being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and what we as women as well as men out there should do before time gets away from us, what is on your heart from what you've experienced?
I think we have to take the time not only to love ourselves, right? Because in loving yourself, you care for yourself. You maintain a health that goes beyond just the physical, right? You're talking about mental, emotional, life experiences, all of that. I think if it's one thing that I've learned is slow down. Slow down, smell the roses. I literally started gardening. I told you this the other day.
Yes.
I started gardening. My husband always was the one with the green thumb, but I slowed down enough in the past year to create a garden and have that sanctuary, that peaceful state of mind where I don't have to rush here and there and do a million things. I'm not saying that that's not good as well. Like if you have to do things, you have to be busy, you have to run organizations, you have to do a million things, a show and an organization, then work. You have to, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, in the midst of all of that, find a peace.
Yes.
Find the stillness.
Yes.
Surrender and allow yourself to listen, to be heard, to feel loved, to give love, to take walks, to really understand why you're here on this earth. Time goes so quickly.
Yes, it does.
It goes so quickly, and why not sit at a lake and talk to God, or talk to whoever that is your warrior and your mighty spirit. But that's the best advice I can give, is just take the time to also accept the help.
Yes.
Anyone who's battling a serious illness, disease, especially cancer, it's okay. Strength comes from getting help. Strength comes from leaning on others and letting others be there to support you. You know, crying is not a sign of weakness. Being able to say, stop, I need help, is a strength. So whether it's an illness such as cancer, I think it's just really important to just take time. Take time and be still.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. All right, I want to ask you, the Racquel that you imagined at this age before cancer versus the Racquel that you are after cancer. What do you see? Is she better? Is she greater? How is she different than that woman that you thought you would have been before the diagnosis?
She's very different. Like I said, when I was diagnosed and having to go through the journey, looking in the mirror, I could not see the Racquel. Now I look at my life and I look at the last 10 years, I look at all that we've experienced as a family as well. And I'm where God needs me to be.
Yes.
So whether I'm better, greater, you know, the ers, I leave that to the people that I'm impacting, the people that I'm living for. I leave that for them to decide. But I know that, you know, I'm here for whatever purpose, whatever reason, and I just try to do the best that I can every day to make sure that if I give someone a hug, they can say, you know, I like Racquel's hugs. Or if someone is in need of something, they know to call Racquel, or, you know, whatever it is. It can be just having a cup of coffee with somebody and listening or showing up for someone. That version of me is better to me.
Right. I love that. I love that. Well, I mean, it inspired you to create this amazing organization. The name is so befitting, and I am the epitome of it, to be honest with you. But to let your light so shine, the name of your organization. Real quick, how did that come about? And tell us a little about the organization and what you do. What do you offer?
Sure. So in one of the photos you showed, there was a PTA picture.
Okay.
That was the first shirt that I did when we were having a cancer walk. This would be back in maybe 16 or 17.
Well, I think it's the first picture, Bobby.
Yeah, with the pink shirts.
Pink
the
shirts,
school,
yes.
we have a pink day at the
And
school.
I think it's that one. You had it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And we were doing the first cancer walk after, you know, my diagnosis. And we, you know, they said, and I remember again a scripture.
Right.
And I said, let's do Let Your Light, you know, shine. Aww. And so that shirt was 2017 or so.
Right.
And then last year when I created the company and founded the company, it just, God said, well, I gave you a name. And the very first organization that I walked into to help, I was helping them create their walk, I walked into the office. I had never been there. It was the first week of my company.
Right.
And the frame on the wall was Let Your Light So Shine.
Oh my God.
So I said, okay, there we go.
It was meant to be. I love it. So what is Let Your Light So Shine? What do you offer?
Yeah, Let Your Light So Shine is a consulting company that I founded. I work with the underserved in the communities, not just nonprofits, community leaders, small business owners, schools, any type of organization that is in need of critical resources and support to operate, to function, just to even have the correct type of opportunities at times, which is what I'm finding, you know, the disparities from borough to borough, from Long Island to Queens. There are just such disparities in what people have access to and opportunities for, whether it's funding, whether it's human resources, whether it's, you know, material resources, whatever it is. So for me, I want to work to ensure whatever resources I can get or lay my hands on, whatever I have in my backpack in terms of resources, I want to be able to help those in an equitable manner.
Okay.
So this is one of the reasons you'll see my company, I'm, speaking here, I'm partnering here, I have a nonprofit client, I have a small business client, I have a school, that because these are the entities in the community. When you think about a community, I share this, where are the people?
Right.
They are in schools, they are in places of worship.
Yeah.
That's where they are, and that's where the resources are lacking for
Right.
many.
Right.
There are schools who, have a budget that, if this falls down and break, they can buy another one. Then you have schools or any community entity that doesn't even have that.
Right.
Or know about it.
Right, right.
So what I try to do is gather my partners, my resources, and just say, oh, I know LaShawn, for example, LaShawn does an amazing, amazing prom drive giveaway. When we first met, that's how we met.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
And then what, how many years later
It's
now?
been 4 years
4
later.
years later.
Yes.
What did I bring in my trunk today for
Yes.
you?
Prom dresses.
Right,
Yes.
for the next, right. So that was gifted to me because people usually know, Racquel knows where this needs to go. Racquel is working with some partner, some organization, some entity that she will know what to do with the resources.
Right.
And as a consultant, again, in the nonprofit world, especially the current economic climate with lack of or loss of funding,
Right.
a lot of organizations can't function by paying full staff. Some of them can't afford a full-time executive director or
Right.
a full-time this. That's where I come in. I show you the value of working with me on a short term or even long term, but it doesn't deplete your budget as
Right.
it would to hire a team or
yeah.
departments. And why? Because of my experience, right? My knowledge, my areas of expertise, especially for strategic development, for operations, volunteer building, board development, fundraising. When you think of that, right, those are so many different lanes and pockets.
Right.
But one organization might just need, Racquel, how do we get volunteers?
Yeah.
And they bring me on board for a project. Another organization can say, Racquel, we would like to retain you monthly.
Right.
We would like to do hourly. So it's a sliding scale because I know that there are needs
Right.
and there are wants
Right.
and there's all the in between. So I want to be able to help and serve
You're
as best
filling
as I
in
can.
the gap.
Yes.
Is what you're doing. You're filling in the gap, which is what God intends us to do anyway in our lives, is to be that person that's going to fill in to help someone else feel full, especially when we're filled, and clearly you are. You've been through it all, and yet you still stand here a champion, and able to serve in the capacity that you're doing. So I love that. I also understand that you have an amazing partnership with Thrive Cosmetics,
Yes,
because
yes.
cosmetics, she was actually also gifted us for the prom giveaway with cute packages, giveaways for the girls from Thrive Cosmetics. So we have a few seconds. Tell us a little about that partnership.
So I met Thrive during one of my tenure as an executive director, and as a breast cancer survivor, they have giving, pillars, and breast cancer is one of them.
Okay.
And for most of the work I did during the pandemic and with the organization I worked for, the partnership just kind of blossomed.
Wow.
And Thrive named the product after me, the Racquel eyeshadow. Yes, brilliant eye brightener.
Check
And,
it out.
Carissa, the CEO and founder of Thrive Cosmetics, she's just about community. She's about doing the same, right? Building up communities that are lacking, but also giving them a sense of pride. Like, hold your head up.
Yes.
A domestic violence victim who can't maybe afford to walk into CVS and Walgreens and buy, mascaras and things like that, but just the little things that can make someone feel empowered or
Right.
make someone go for a job interview and feel, great. So Thrive Cosmetics has partnered with me, as they always do, and a huge shout out to Carissa and her team, and just in making sure that they get their products to the communities where it matters and to individuals who are changing the lives in the communities.
Yes.
So this is for you.
Aw,
in
this
honor
is
of Breast
for
Cancer
me.
Awareness
I
Month.
love it. Thank you.
You're
Please
welcome.
check out Thrive Cosmetics. They're doing such great work. They really
Incredible,
are.
incredible.
And I can't wait to use this. That's all I have to say about that. Because I use the night mask to put on my face. I've used the lip balm. It's the bomb. All right. I'd like to thank you so much, Racquel, for being here. It's always a pleasure. You must come back. We have so much more for you to talk about. But I want to congratulate you as a survivor. I want to continue to uplift you in any way possible whenever you need me, even if it's just to talk on the phone and just yip yap about nothing. I am there for you. But I just want you to continue on this trajectory of just being the powerhouse that you are, a woman that cares about others even in the midst of the challenges that you deal with on a daily basis. It is so inspiring and it is powerful. It really is, because a lot of us take what we have for granted, and you don't. You actually, as I mentioned in your bio, is that you want to leave somebody feeling better after you've had an encounter with them. And I feel that every time I see you doing the work that you're doing. So congratulations, 10 years clean and 10 years in remission, and many more to come. You look fabulous. You really do. All right, we're gonna put up your information where you can reach out to this beautiful lady. It is Let Your Light So Shine. There is her Instagram, her Facebook, and as you can take a moment, you can put your phone up to the screen and you can get a shot of her QR code. But please reach out to her, especially if you have a business or organization that needs someone to help fill in the gap, because that's basically what she does. Yes. All right, we're gonna get real quick to the Dare to Be You. And it is, dare to believe that your light has purpose. Dare to rise even when life tries to dim your glow. Dare to love yourself through the storms and the sunshine. Dare to speak truth even when silence feels safer. Dare to walk in faith knowing your steps are guided. Dare to uplift others with the same light that healed you. Dare to shine boldly, unapologetically, and beautifully, because the world needs your light. And that's exactly what this beautiful woman has shared with us today. I want you to leave us with something positive to go for the rest of this week. What would you like to share? We got like 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Don't give up on hope. Hope, and just take it one day at a time and find that inner strength, but never give up on hope, and just lead.
Just lead.
Lead.
Just
lead with hope.
Thank you.
Yes.
And be that light in someone's day. It is so, so important. We do have it within us. We should wake up every moment wanting to shine it on others, and shine it brightly no matter what you're going through. Because to me, God is going to get you through everything that you endure. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to another fabulous episode of Your Our Unity. I want to thank my beautiful, radiant guest, Miss Racquel Chariah, for coming in to share her journey, share her truth with you. I want you guys to just have a fabulous evening. I will see you in 2 weeks. And please remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. So let's go out there and be some love, share some love, and just walk in love. I love you, and I want you to have a good evening, and we'll see you soon. Say good night, Racquel.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.